Okay, hey guys, we've been developing the website, and we're trying to come up with some terms and terminology, so not to sound too condescending, but I like the idea of teacher-student, and that really, for me, works. It allows me to teach, and hopefully you guys can learn. I can learn from you guys when you give us feedback, which is very helpful, so give me that as well, and it allows me to adjust the material accordingly. When we started this module, on this June topic of risk management, I did a initial seminar on the top 20 things we're going to start applying when an event occurs. And I want to talk about two things, the top two, okay, that I listed on the previous video: emotions and opinions. And I put down under emotions, they're real but dangerous, so deal with them. Anytime there's a crisis, emotions are the first thing that reacts for people. And I know I've been criticized for sometimes being cold and calculating. It's not really that. It's just that's a logical part of me that goes into trying to solve a problem. Emotions can be very dangerous, and I have experienced this through my own personal life as well as a lot of the glasses of my clients. So my insight for you is that emotions are the worst thing to use in dealing with a crisis, but you have to deal with them. If you have a death, a divorce, an affair, if you have someone arrested in your family, or you just have a bad situation, you cannot control your emotions. You can stifle them, but you cannot control them. So my advice and my coaching is that you deal with them. And what that means is, if you're sad, acknowledge that you're sad. If you're angry, acknowledge that you're angry. But remember now, emotions they really don't have any solutions to them. They're states of being. I'm angry. Okay, so what does that do for me? Does that solve the problem? No, it just put me in a state of condition that may or may not be helpful. So how long do you give yourself permission to be that way? And you could say, well, I know I shouldn't be with this person, but I continue to be with that person. Oh, okay, so what is your plan of action? So what I teach people, and this is something about my clients that I really give your emotions a period of time to deal with. So and this is a technique I use for my kids. I say, okay, you don't want to do this. You're angry at me. Okay, so how long do you want to be angry at me? And sometimes I'll say, I want to be angry all day. Okay, great. That's great. If you want to waste your day being angry at me, okay, feel free. I think that's an inappropriate amount of time to be angry. Now, if someone's cheating on you, it may be longer. I don't know. And so you may want to deal with that. What ends up happening, though, is that emotions sometimes can sort of go into your logic part and start affecting your decision making. So one of the examples that I give a lot of, let's say you're married and you catch your spouse cheating on you and he leaves. The house bill is too much money for you under your income. I have seen so many women and men say, I can make this work. Okay? Why would you do that? You went into this strategy of buying this property with two incomes. Now you have one income. How much stress are you putting into the emotion around owning this property? It's probably pretty significant. That is a horrible decision most of the time. So if you are making a decision on your finances, which are emotionless, or your state of your financial condition, emotions do not sometimes run logically, and all of the things in our life that affect us, our jobs, our work, our housing, our finances, are non-emotional. Now listen, I've had things happen, and you avoid things, you get depressed, you get anxiety, you don't face things head on, and then they grow and fester. You're like, oh man, I got to deal with this again. Well, when you're dealing with a crisis, your emotions can really start to affect your ability to make decisions for the future. So my coaching on this is simply to do the following. Write your emotions down. Give yourself a daily amount of time to just be emotional around it. Don't make any decisions during that time. So some people are more emotional at night, okay? If you've got responsibilities, give yourself an hour to be emotional. And I know it sounds weird and it sounds stupid, but it really is an effective way to say, okay, when you come home and you're I don't know, angry at the world or whatever, you take your time, you just say, I'm angry and I want to be angry and this is where I'm going to be. Once you're done with that, go about your work. and have a plan. So one of the things that emotions can do is sort of leak in and dominate your whole experience. I think it's really important that if you are an emotional person and you tend to swing one way or the other about your emotions, you have to put them into a compartmentalized area of your life. What I'm not saying is that they are not important. They're very, very important, and you shouldn't just cut them off, but you have to manage them. And if you manage them correctly, your decision making can be enhanced. So that's the first topic, is emotions. So I would really be interested to see if someone's got some stories they could send back to me on how they've handled their emotions and what they did that was positive for them, what did negative, so that we could share it with some other people. If you could do that, please send us an email or post it on the site. Thanks a lot. Bye.